It's hump day.
Hump day!
It's hump day.
Hump day!
Hello everybody and welcome to Hump Day Hangouts. Today is the 9th of December and this is episode 57. So I'm going to go down the list here like we usually do and we're going to give it our best shot at saying hello to everybody. How's it going, Chris?
Hey everybody.
All right, good. He's here. I was starting to wonder if I was talking to myself. Hey Hernan, what's up?
Hey everybody. It's good to be here.
Hey Marco, how's it going?
Hey, what's up, everybody?
And Bradley, how goes it, man?
What's up, guys? I see that Marco joined the meme business.
Uh-oh.
Did you see the events page?
Not yet. I just flipped over. I was writing down notes.
I thought
for
it
the
was
show,
Wayne
so I'll have to
Clayton
check
first.
it out.
When I started scrolling down, I saw it. I was like, "Oh, Wayne."
Oh no, that's good. I saw that on Facebook or Google Plus earlier. I like
saw
that.
Marco, and I was like, "Wow, we're expanding our talent base." So
Good deal. Well, I just got a few announcements. We'll get through these pretty quick and get going. I think we mentioned it a week or two ago, but we wanted to let you know that IFTTT 2.0 is getting under development. I had dealt with a few questions. People were asking us, when's the date when you're releasing it, when are videos updated? We don't have that yet. I promise you we'll let you know when we do. But we're looking sometime here in the kind of near midterm, so we'll get you some more information on that.
Let me jump on that for a minute, if you don't mind. Okay, so IFTTT version 2.0, that's going to be coming out. I had posted in the Facebook group about doing some updates for the current version, but really there's nothing to update, guys. Nothing that is worth updating until the new course comes out. I was going to try to do some update videos about the new Google Plus, but I highly recommend, and maybe this is what I'll post in there because I haven't done it yet, but I highly recommend that you continue using classic Google Plus for now until they force us to go to the new version, because the new version is lacking some of the features that we currently have. They're probably going to be integrated before it comes out of beta, but currently it's in beta. So I just want to let you guys know that we're not, provided we can get through the end of this year, we'll be working on setting up version 2 or 2.0 for next year, probably January, February at the latest to be launched. And if we can make it until then without any major updates, we're not going to do much for updating the current version, if that makes sense, unless something else like really pressing comes out. So.
Cool. Okay. Good deal. Well, sorry, getting a weird echo. On the notes of other areas we're working on, obviously SERPS is one of the areas where we're working on getting more features and functionality for everybody. If you haven't yet, please check it out, serpspace.com. It's a free account to register and check it all out. You don't need to pay for anything to check out the services. We are going to be opening, our video powerhouse is open right now for our students, so I'll be dropping that link in here. You can go check that out. We're looking to bring some more people on in December. The service is working out really well. And actually, we just talked to Dan Anton about that. Yesterday we had an interview webinar with Dan Anton. If you missed that, you'll be able to catch a replay shortly. You can find it on our YouTube channel, or I'll send out a link to it. We're going to have a blog post with some more information, and we'll send that out on Friday. If you're not familiar with Dan, Dan's a creator of CrowdSearch, which we are huge fans of. And on top of that, he's got several other great products. And we talked to him, a lot of the webinar was about how he built his business. He's very successful. He's had a lot of great launches, great products, solid products. And so it was interesting to talk to him and get his view on how he went about building his business. So I don't know if you want to add anything to that, Bradley. Or...
Yeah, and it was a no-pitch webinar, guys. It wasn't promotional of any sort. Seriously, there was no affiliate links dropped or any. I mean, it was literally just an interview with Dan to talk about how he became successful and to kind of just share some knowledge with other, with anybody trying to build a business. And it was a good session. It was only an hour long too. So.
I don't want to make Bradley a liar. I totally dropped affiliate links on there.
Oh, did you?
That was, yeah. That was at the end when we were talking about it. This is the one where, especially CrowdSearch, we all use it. As ourselves. It's not like we. Sell it as affiliates and then use that money to buy it. We use it ourselves for our own uses outside of Semantic Mastery, and happy to. So at the end, I dropped that. I think backlinks indexer. But yeah, like I said, was mostly talking to Dan about how he's built his business, and like I said, he's been successful and had a lot of really good products. And
okay, well then I didn't entirely lie. It wasn't a pitch webinar, but there were affiliate links dropped.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I just want to correct it so when somebody doesn't see this later and is like, I saw something.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah, so no, we're happy to promote his products. They're high quality. Like I said, we use them. So, what were you saying, Hernan?
It was basically a pitch fest. So go ahead and
So I'll let you guys, whoever's watching, you can decide for yourself. We'll send that link out on Friday with kind of the roundup email of what we've got going in the week. And then next week, correct me if I'm wrong, you guys, but Monday, I believe at 7 p.m., we're going to be talking to Andreas Tobar about some SERP Shaker business, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's correct.
Awesome. Okay, so I'll let, if someone else wants to fill that in a little bit more, I don't have all the details, so I don't want to put my foot in my mouth too much more than usual. But it's going to be based around that, and then some kind of additions to that. And I don't know if I want to give too much away, or if we want to say
we can.
Expand on that a bit, would you?
Yeah, sure. We can say that Andres has been combining RYS with SERP Shaker technology, and he's been doing some crazy stuff, and he has developing his own scripts to automate the whole thing. So he's gonna be presenting how he's using SERP, the SERP Shaker methodology or approach combination with RYS and some of his own scripts. So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Cool. All right, and one last thing, and obviously I'll be sending out something, people will see that. We'll post it in Facebook and Google Plus and send out the invite to that stuff. And then the mastermind, just so you're aware, we're adding something to our mastermind. We're going to be giving our members a chance to kind of get in the hot seat and answer some questions. So mastermind members are getting a chance to get some kind of one-to-many feedback. They're going to sit down with us via like a Hangout and ask us questions, or we're going to be able to ask them questions and be able to figure out how we can kind of push them forward. So if that type of action is sounds like something good for you, now's a good time to hop into the mastermind. We're going to start doing at least one of these a month, probably more than that. So.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we're the first one's supposed to be tomorrow at 4 p.m. It's only an hour long. But I didn't post it yet in the community, and I haven't cleared it with Robbie and Wayne yet to see if they're. By the way, if you guys are on, let us know if you guys are cool with tomorrow, starting tomorrow between 4 and 5.
If not, we'll work around you guys and get this first one out of the way. So.
Yeah, we'll have to reschedule. I was supposed to post it in the group yesterday and ask and get with you guys, and I completely dropped the ball. So I apologize for that. If you guys are available, though, we'd like to do that tomorrow between 4 and 5 p.m. Eastern. So.
Sounds good. All right. Well, that's all I've got. So if anybody else has anything, now's the time.
Yeah. Okay. One thing. Justin Sardi's new course.
Right.
Marco, if you've got that link, if you can.
Yeah, I'll drop the link in there.
Justin Sardi's new course for video advertising, YouTube ads, which again I can't say enough about them. It's just part of everything that we do and all of our sales funnel, all of product stuff, building our email list. I do it for local. I also use video ads for video SEO. Believe it or not, that's just something that I do when I need an additional push on a video that I'm trying to rank. And I learned how to do video ads from Justin. I did some one-on-one coaching with him at the beginning of this year, so I kind of got that hands-on with him. But his new course coming out is called Video Extreme. It comes out on Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern. It's a $300 course, but it's a really in-depth course. I've been through it. He gave me review access, and I've been through that course and actually picked up several more techniques and nuggets of information that I hadn't learned before. And I do a lot of YouTube ad stuff. So anybody's interested in using YouTube ads for driving traffic, I mean, it's really a very underused traffic source right now, and it won't be that way for long, guys. Just like Facebook ads, it's going to become saturated at some point, but right now is still a golden opportunity to get in, learn how to use Facebook advertising, and drive traffic for pennies per click. And it's very, very targeted traffic. I mean, you can get so precise with your targeting to where you only show your ads in front of specific videos, which is fantastic because it's so targeted. Conversion rates are good. So anyways, enough of that. There's a link if you guys want to get, there's a free download, a PDF download. If you go to, it's a cheat sheet, YouTube ads cheat sheet, where he also discusses how you can get like free ad credits for testing YouTube ads if you wanted to. And if you go sign up for that, you'll get the email on Friday when it's launched, and you can check out the product if you want. There's also, we have some bonuses that we're lined up if anybody purchases through our link. We have that URL too. I don't know. Do you have that ready, Adam?
Yeah, I'll drop that in there.
That's
I've got it.
masterypr.com link.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, if anybody's interested in purchasing and they end up purchasing through our link, we've got several bonuses lined up for that as well. And again, it's something that I highly recommend. You know, we don't typically promote a lot of products unless there's stuff that we use, and I stand behind Justin's product, no question. So, okay. All right. Other than that, do we got anything else? Anybody else?
Oh, let's get it started.
Cool.
Let's do it.
Yep.
Let's do the do.
All right. So here we go. We'll start with Kevin at the bottom and work our way up. My site is 2 months old. Excuse me. Let me lock my screen so that it's not bouncing. Okay. My site is 2 months old with around 20 backlinks that I have created. Can I now 301 a few expired domains to my site to help push PADA and number of backlinks? There's that PADA question again. My site already has pretty good trust flow, 15 plus on most pages with close to a 1-to-1 ratio. That's good. Also, should I set up WordPress plus a link juice keeper first on the expired domain before I 301, or should I just do it through the registrar or htaccess? Do you have any suggestions on whether I do this for my money homepage or innerpages, or how many 301s and how many innerpages? Oh, and the expired, there's a lot of O's. And the expired domain be exact same niche and subniche, or just same main niche? Okay, there's several questions in that one, so we'll start with the top. Yeah, it's okay to do that, to kind of do some redirects to your main money site. I don't like to do a redirect from like an expired domain, even if it's if it's from the same niche, which is really important, guys. If you're going to be doing this type of thing, unless you're just pushing juice, which you can do with like some double 301 redirects and stuff that we talk about in the mastermind, we're not going to reveal all of it here, but unless you're doing those type of methods where it's just about pushing juice, then I recommend that you do find expired domains that are within the same niche. They don't have to be the exact like same sub niche. They don't have to it doesn't have to be really, really granular, but what you're looking for is topical trust flow relevance. And if you can find those, then by all means it's okay to redirect them to your main money site. Here's where I find an issue with redirecting expired domains direct to the money site, is it looks odd if you have too many of them. Okay, and so I don't recommend that you do a bunch of them. If you've got a couple of them, then that's fine. That's not an issue. I do it myself. But if I have, let's say I found 8 domains that have got decent metrics, clean inbound link profiles, and they're on the same topical trust flow, the same topic, so they have that same topical trust flow relevance, then I wouldn't redirect all 8 domains to my money site. What I would do is I would take 1 or 2 of those and redirect them to my money site, and then redirect the others to those first redirects, to where it's only showing in the backlink analysis tools and like Search Console and things like that, only those 2 redirects, but I'm still pushing additional topical trust flow through because I've got a chain of redirects set up, if that makes sense. It looks odd if you start pushing a bunch of redirects all of a sudden to your money site, and I don't like to do that. If I'm going to do something like that, then I spread it out over time. Hernan, you want to comment on that part of it?
Yes, yeah, I agree with you on the 301. Too much of a good thing, can become the other way around. So I have found, depending on the niche, I have found, for example, for local, that just a couple of them will give you good results.
Right.
But it has to be congruent with whatever, anything else that you're doing. For example, you can check the backlinks that your competitors have, like the top 5, and you can try and run, for example, something like Blue Chick backlinks from Terry Kyle or Screaming Frog if you have the resources, and try to scrape your competitor's backlink profile and see if you can emulate their profile. But yeah, it will have to be consistent with your link building strategy overall. So I wouldn't start just from right off the bat with 301s. I would maybe do it some let it age a little bit, and up the trust flow before starting doing 301. Usually I do 301s when I need a push.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And he says it's about 2 months old with about 20 backlinks already. So,
right. I
mean, again, that's a really new site, and you don't want to overdo it. So, like, if I was going to do anything, Kevin, I might just do 1 301 to start with, and then if I was going to do any additional 301s, that would be to that first 301 URL domain instead of direct to the money site, where I would be basically building upon that first redirect instead of adding additional redirects, if that makes sense. And again, don't push it too fast, man, because you'll get penalized. Did we ever? I know, Marco, you were working on a blog post about the 2070. Did that ever get published?
No. I'm still editing it, and I'm going to add some graphics and some other stuff. Okay. It will be done by the end of the week.
All right, because that'll be something that is going to be really useful for all of you guys. It's a post about how when you start making changes to your site, you need to let them sit and take effect, and at least wait 20 days, because if you don't, then Google's going to see that you keep making adjustments, and they're going to sandbox your site. Okay, doesn't mean they're going to penalize the site, but it means that they just won't promote it anymore, and it can end up causing problems for you, long-term problems. So you got to be really careful with that kind of stuff. As far as should you set up WordPress and Link Juice Keeper first on the expired domain before you 301? No, because that's just additional work. If you're going to be building those sites out like PBNs, then yeah, of course you want to set up WordPress or some sort of CMS or website. It could be HTML, whatever. And then you could do that. But if you're just going to be doing 301s, I wouldn't recommend wasting the time of setting up WordPress and putting in plugins and stuff like that on it. Okay. If you're going to use them just for 301s, I don't recommend doing that. It's just a waste of time. Okay. Make sure that if it's your registrar 301, that it's not GoDaddy. Namecheap will work fine, but GoDaddy will sometimes give you 302 redirects, even though it says it's 301. You need to check it. So and I don't know about other registrars, because those are pretty much the only two that I use. I've got some other ones, but they're not for like that type of stuff. They're just for like PBN domains, like like Phoenix domains and some other. Anyways, the point is I don't usually do domain registrars or registrar 301s with any of the other domain registrars, so I don't know about them. You'd have to just test it. If you set up a 301 within the registrar, just use something like redirect-checker.org, and it'll show you whether it's 301 or 302, that type of thing. All right, htaccess is a better way to go. You can also do a server, a cPanel redirect. So if you point the domain to one of your hosting accounts, you can just go right into cPanel and set up a redirect there within cPanel.
Okay. And also, sorry, Bradley, but we had Brian Tucker a couple of weeks ago. I think it was last Mastermind, and he has been experimenting a lot with 301s as well, and he was saying that usually htaccess redirection work faster than 301 from the registrar. That's usually what I do, from the registrar itself. But you need to test it out. I don't have enough data to see if that's correct or not, but I trust Brian, so I would say that you test it out.
Yeah. He says, do you have any suggestions on whether I do this to my money homepage or innerpages, or how many 301s to how many innerpages? Again, don't do too many 301s, Kevin. Seriously, just don't do that. I mean, you can experiment with it, but I wouldn't. I would err on the side of caution. I'd be very conservative with that. And if you're going to be adding multiple 301s, you should do it over time so that you can allow each 301 that you add time to have an effect before you do another. You got to be patient when you start doing stuff like this. All right. So as far as homepage or innerpages, it depends. What are you trying to push? If you're trying to rank an inner page for a specific keyword, I like to use those type of tactics very. I like to point them to strategic locations, if that makes sense. Like, for example, a silo landing page, right? Because then it's going to push throughout the entire silo. Or even an inner post, a long tail post, as long as it's got, if it's the internal linking structure is proper, it's going to end up pushing the juice all the way through the silo anyways. So, I don't build a lot of high-powered links to my homepage. I usually push to inner pages because it just makes sense. You don't typically rank your homepage. It depends on how your site structure is, but a lot of the times your homepage isn't really what you end up trying to rank. It's inner pages anyways. Okay.
Yep. If you want to be a bit more aggressive as well, I would suggest that you point it to Web 2.0s. Like, for example, some properties of your IFTTT will, some semantic hubs, those kind of things. Yeah.
Yeah, then you can go crazy. Right. Along those lines of what Hernan just said, Kevin, if you want to get way more aggressive with how many using several 301 domains and that sort of thing, you certainly can do that. Just point them to a buffer site first, which preferably would be your IFTTT network, so that you're juicing your branded profiles. You could also do it to citations if it's a local site. Make sure you're pushing them, you're pointing them to do follow, pages where there's do follow links to your money site though. Okay, and just that way and in that case you can also push some anchor text relevancy, which will increase your topical trust flow. That's one way to do it. That's one way to inject some topical relevancy through, even if you're using a domain that wasn't, on 100% on topic. My point is if you're pointing to a page that has topical relevancy, and then you've got a keyword anchor text link that's pointing back to your money site, and so essentially you're pushing your juice first to the page itself that has the article on it that's relevant, topically relevant to what your destination is, your money site, and then by the juice funneling through that anchor text link back to your money site, it's going to inject some topical trust flow right there. So that's actually a good way to do it if you've got some domains that aren't spot on metrics as far as topical trust flow relevancy. Does that make sense? Okay. So that was a bit of an advanced question. Hopefully some of you guys didn't get lost in the weeds on that. That was a good question, Kevin, though. Just be careful when you're doing that kind of stuff. There's ways that you can protect your money site from overdoing it, because trust me, your site, if it's only 2 months old, it's still in kind of a probationary period. So you just want to be real careful with what you're doing. So take it slow. Okay, let's see. This one, I know I'm about to commit hearsay here, but if I didn't want to use IFTTT to auto-post an RSS feed to my Facebook page, what are some favorite strategies? I don't know, because I only use IFTTT for that. Anybody else have any? Excuse me, there's two other options, Buffer or what's Hootsuite. Hootsuite.
No,
right.
you also have Zapier. It works really well. Deliver.it, and then Snap.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, there are several options, but I mean I've tested them, but I always go back to IFTTT because it just works.
Yeah. Yeah, and Buffer works. I mean, I really like Buffer too. You have to have a Buffer Pro account, I think, to add RSS feeds. But I really do like Buffer a lot. So I used to use Hootsuite for that kind of stuff, but I like Buffer better than Hootsuite now. So that's something that you could look into as well. Again, I think you need a Pro account in order to add RSS feeds, though. But it's pretty cool because you can schedule a post and all that kind of stuff.
And Jason, don't worry, that's not heresy. We're not going to hunt you down.
Sky says, on web pages that I'm trying to rank, what is a good way to display affiliate links? Cloaking, nofollow, or gateway? I always cloak the links using a redirect plugin and add a nofollow tag anyways. And that's all I ever do. Period. I mean, anybody else have any ideas, any other methods that they want to share? That's all I do is just use a good redirect plugin, preferably a meta refresh redirect instead of just a straight 301. And then I always add the nofollow tag to it.
Yeah, and I'd be careful with the cloaking. Check the terms of service.
Yeah, well, it's kind of, that can confuse people because Google's definition of cloaking is different than what we as affiliates think of as cloaking.
Yeah, I would just, whatever you're being an affiliate for, read the fine print, and if it's a churn and burn, then maybe you can get away with it, and just understand what you're doing and what they allow. So.
Yeah, for example, Amazon, I know that they won't allow cloaking unless you're using their own shortener, so you need to have the ams.to link over there. Otherwise, it's considered cloaking. So yeah. That's one out.
So that's all I can offer you on that, Sky. I just use a preferably meta refresh 301 plugin. Excuse me, a redirect plugin, and then add a nofollow tag.
Okay, now I have a question for you, Bradley. Since you do meta refresh, what do you set your meta refresh at?
1 second. Or 0, whatever. So it's just the lowest setting. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah. It's just the lowest setting. So it's like an automatic. It counts like a 301. So. Okay, Rick Dawes says, a lot of SEO strategies discussed are for WordPress sites for good reason. But what if someone uses a non-WordPress site like Duda? Would you encourage a new site to be made, or could you be just as good with the right tactics? I don't know about Duda. I can't speak about that specifically, Rick, but a lot of the times, I've worked on HTML sites, believe it or not, some older versions, and I've also worked on like proprietary platform CMSs where I don't, I flat out tell clients if they have something that's on a proprietary platform that I am not going to learn that platform, period. because it's not worth, not unless, I mean, they couldn't pay me enough to do it because it's just not the best use of my time. So if they want me to do a setup, you know, SEO campaigns for them and content distribution, then I just build a WordPress site on a subdomain of their main money site, whatever, you know, whatever it is, and because it's WordPress then, and then I can go to town with it like I normally do. So you know, that's one way to do it, is just if you're dealing with a client that's got a site on Duda, you could just say, hey, look, I'll set up a WordPress site on a subdomain, and we'll use that as the content distribution engine, and basically use that to push content out and build links back to your money site. Because that way. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Sorry about that, but oftentimes that's even better for the website when you add a few subdomains, because then you're pushing the root domain will feed from the subdomains, but also the root domain will feed the subdomains, so it'll form a symbiotic relationship.
Yeah. Yeah, and it gives you, that way you have full control over it too, because, you know, again, when somebody's on a proprietary platform or something like Duda, something that I'm not familiar with, I don't want to take the time to learn that. I don't want to get in there and do any sort of messing around. So I just flat out say I'm going to set up a WordPress site on a subdomain. That'll give me full control. I'll have basically full control over the subdomain site and the content distribution, and we'll still be able to achieve the same results. Okay. Okay, the next question from Rick was Twitter questions. Does embedding a Twitter feed into your site help SEO? Yeah, it does. What I like about adding a Twitter feed, like a widget, which is real easy to do, you just sign in your Twitter account, and on the left-hand sidebar, or when you go to settings, your Twitter settings, you'll see a widgets tab, and you click on that, and you can set up a widget right within your WordPress site. I like to do that because it constantly adds new content, fresh content to the page. And if you set up IFTTT recipes, like retweet recipes, like what we have in the Twitter SEO Academy, then it will constantly be updating your Twitter feed with relevant content based on hashtags, which in turn will update your WordPress site too.
Mm-hmm.
And it keeps the bots coming and spiders crawling your pages too. So.
Yep.
Anything else you're gonna add?
Yeah, it's also good for PBNs, Rick. I mean, if you have a couple of PBNs that they are not usually updated, if you have a Twitter feed or a Pinterest feed or even a Facebook page feed, you know, they will refresh the iframe. But you know, if you had to choose, then I would suggest Twitter because of the bromance that's going on right now.
Bromance.
Yeah. So
he says his homepage is static, but you can still code the widget in there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because it's just an iframe.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, the last part of that question, did I ever look deeper into WP Tweet plugin? No, it's collecting digital dust on my hard drive. It's somewhere in the bowels of my hard drive right now, waiting for me to dig it out and play with it when I find a few free moments. But I don't think that's going to happen anytime in the next 3 years. So I purchased it, and just like I do so many things that I see that I'm like, ooh, that looks interesting. I'll pick that up and I'll check it out. Yeah, right. I don't have the damn time to do it. I would like to, but I haven't done it yet. So
give it to our social media manager so that he can check it out and take it for a test run and see what happens.
Yeah.
It's a good idea. Give it to Gary.
Yeah, which is also part of the mad scientist team, you know, so he can break it.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm saying I picked it up. I haven't tried it. I know we have the mad scientist team. Has anybody else played with it? I don't think so.
No.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll give it to Gary and see. Give it to Gary. He'll try anything, right? So, the next one. Well, by the way, we're working on a kind of like another division of our business now, where we're going to be doing a lot more testing of other products and stuff to vet them out. And we're actually training VAs for that kind of stuff, guys. So, although it's not something I'm able to do at the moment, as far as like testing other products, for the most part, we are actually training a team to do that sort of thing for us, and then we'll be posting reviews on those products and things like that. That's coming in the next few months. We're training people for that now. So.
Yeah, and I'd just be curious if people, especially during Hump Day Hangouts, if people have products out there that they're just really curious about. I'm just interested in what other people are looking at. We know what we're interested in.
Yeah.
But.
Well, we got a section to get dedicated to that inside the mastermind for people to post requests for product or service reviews, like outsourcing services, link building services, any software, plugins, training courses, anything like that. And that's kind of what we're developing, that that team out for now, is to start testing those type of products based on requests from mastermind members. So, okay, Paul says IFTTT questions: should we be using IFTTT URL shortening feature? No, turn that off. That's just a crazy footprint, Paul. That's actually in the training, by the way. That's one of the very first videos, is to, when you first set up the IFTTT account, you got to go to preferences and turn IFTTT link shortening off. And again, that's in the training. Sam says, would you recommend firing spam at second-tier properties or using a buffer? You can at second-tier properties, Sam. Just be careful with your anchor text. You know, it's okay to do that to second-tier. I wouldn't fire spam to tier 1, but you can fire it to tier 2.
GSA blasted 3% on Twitter. No, I'm just trying to read the rest of the question. GSA blasted 3 personal Twitter profiles would represent a second tier of my IFTTT network. Yeah, that would work, Sam. Tried experimenting a little bit also with contextuals from GSA. You know, I've seen better results with a contextual layer in between. So you would do the Twitter profiles, then a contextual layers of GSA, and then a GSA spam. Vary it a little bit so that you can see the results. But I usually have better results with a contextual layer between whatever I want to pump and the actual spam.
Right.
Yep.
I'm looking for. Where's the referral traffic post? I swear I thought I had saved that in here.
I'll pull it up.
Okay, because just tag Scott on that, Scott Rogers. The post that Scott, I did a post on our blog. You're more than welcome to watch that on how to set up referral traffic campaigns for CrowdSearch, and that should answer your question. If you have any additional questions about that, just post in one of our groups and we'll get to it. For anybody that doesn't know, we're going to drop a link. It's on how to use CrowdsearchME for referral traffic, which is what I'm using it for now more than anything. I'll still set up navigational searches, which are searches that search for the brand name of the business or the website. Remember, guys, a website can be a brand, right? So navigational searches is what I'll do for direct search and click traffic, but I don't do any sort of keyword search and click traffic to websites anymore at all. And I find that referral traffic works incredibly well for both videos and for local sites as well. And that's what I'm driving. Other than some very small navigational search queries, search traffic to direct to the money site, everything else is done pretty much through referral traffic now, which means using CrowdSearch to click through from search to social property like Twitter or Tumblr or WordPress.com or Blogger, something like that, and then from there you direct the click from that post to the final destination, which could be your money site or a video or wherever you want it to go. And that referral traffic is working incredibly well. It's not something that gives you an immediate effect. It's something you have to set up, and don't overdo it, guys. Like, if you're targeting a keyword that gets 100 searches a month on average, you don't want to send 300 searches a month through referral traffic, because it wouldn't look natural. So you want to keep it low, like maybe 30-40% of what the search traffic, the search volume is for that keyword. In this case, you'd want like 30 or 40 searches per month to go through as referral traffic. And if you're setting up multiple referrers, which would be like sending traffic through Twitter and Tumblr, then you'd want to adjust accordingly to where you're sending 15 or 20 searches a month through Twitter, 15 or 20 searches a month through Tumblr, so that cumulatively it's still around that 30-40% range of the overall search volume for that keyword, right? And again, don't expect immediate results, but you set it up and you let it run and give it about 3 or 4 weeks, and you should see significant results from that. I'm having phenomenal results, and that's pretty much the only way I use it now, besides some navigational queries as well. Okay. Kevin says, if I build links through link exchanges with other niche sites, how do I get Google to crawl? I would, honestly, Kevin, in that sort of situation, I would let those links get indexed naturally. Anybody else want to comment on that? Anybody have any other differing opinions on that?
Yeah. No, if they are tier 1, yeah, let them index naturally.
Yeah.
Kevin.
Link exchanges, you just want to be careful. You don't want to post a link and then force the crawl immediately, because that looks highly unnatural, and you can end up getting in trouble. The site's in trouble. Your site and the site that you're getting the link from.
Yeah, and if you're assuming these sites, the link exchanges sites, the site where you get the link is not being crawled very often, just take your link out of there. Because, you know, if it doesn't get crawled very often, means that it has low metrics, it doesn't have, you know, enticing content so that both the visitors and the spider will visit it. You know, instead of doing that, you know, you could very well go comment on a high domain authority or high metrics blog with a lot of traffic, and, you know, leave a valuable comment, and that will give you a link, but it will also give you a ton of traffic. So,
Yeah.
you know, when it comes to the link, to the links that are pointing back to your site, you need to be like really picky with those.
Yeah, if you're going to use stuff like link exchanges, I recommend you point the links to tier 1 properties, not direct to your money site.
Right.
You know, I don't like using those sorts of things. And like Hernan said, if you're putting your link on a page on a site that gets good natural traffic, organic traffic, or, you know, whatever, it has traffic, it's got you know, social activity on it, stuff like that, it's going to get crawled often anyways. So your link will get picked up. But if it's not, then again, you're using it's rather low quality. It's lower quality. So I would use that only to link to like your tier 1 properties instead of direct to money site. And then just so you know, in order to force that kind of stuff, I don't recommend it in this case, because a lot of the times I would just let that kind of stuff index naturally. Like I only try to force links to be indexed, guys, when they're like Web 2 links. And you know, and it depends on what they're actually linking to, but you know, that's typically the only time I do it. For like higher quality, air quotes, higher quality links, a lot of times just let those index naturally because you want it to be natural. But Twitter is a great way to do that. If you have a Twitter account with, you know, that's not in a sandbox, you could always tweet the URL of the page that has your link on it, and that'll get the bots to come to that page. So Twitter's a great way to index links, guys, if you have a good Twitter account. Marco and his new meme ability. That's awesome. Could you imagine that, Wedgie? You'd taste cotton. You know, be like, damn. All right, Robbie says, can you build a scenario where initial video doesn't rank once it's been syndicated to a full 2-tier network? What steps, I guess, would you take in order to an order of priority to boost the video rank in the SERPs? Well, all that's covered, Robbie. I know he's in the mastermind. I know all that's covered in the masterclass, Robbie. That would be in the first 8 weeks when we did all video SEO stuff. You know, what I typically do is once it's gone through the SERPs, or excuse me, my networks has gone through my networks, I wait about 2 weeks. If it hasn't been boosted, then I'll start doing some additional social embeds, preferably social embeds like Twitter retweets, Tumblr reblogs, Pinterest repins. Those are all really, really good ways to get additional embeds. CrowdSearch, again, CrowdSearch is something I always set up. That, guys, my method is usually I upload a video to my YouTube channel or live stream, which is typically what I do, and then I let it wait about 2 weeks. After about 2 weeks, if it's not where I want it to be, then I'll set up a CrowdSearch. Well, actually, excuse me, let me reframe that. Within about 3 days, I'll set up a CrowdSearch campaign to start driving traffic to the video. And now with referral traffic, it works really well because what happens is you can end up just copying some of the post URLs from the Web 2 sites that are in your IFTTT networks and using those as your referrers. And again, that's covered in the blog post that Adam dropped a link for. And then after that, within about 10 days of setting up the CrowdSearch campaign, so about 2 weeks from the date of upload or live stream, then I'll start doing additional social embeds if needed. Okay, you can also do things like SAP links if you want to do that. If you have access to tools like FCS or SendWire or something like that, you can do some additional embed blasts. You can also do some backlink packages to the videos themselves. Guys, make sure you're using playlists, guys. If you're not doing that, make sure you're using playlists and start building links to the playlist URL that the video is included in. That's a huge way to get boosting, guys. I'm not going to show it right now because it's a masterclass thing, but I'm working on a launch jack right now for masterclass, and you'll see that I'm ranked #1 for the 2 main terms with a playlist URL. And it's a brand new playlist URL. Set it up 3 days ago. And it's and so that's what I'm saying. Playlists, guys, are incredibly powerful if you use them properly, and that's what YouTube Silo Academy, guys. It's $7. If you don't have it already, go pick it up. And Robbie, you're in the masterclass, you already have it. So make sure you're using playlists, and you can build links to that using even spam tools for that matter.
Hey, Bradley.
Yep.
He also doesn't say how long it's been.
2
And
years. I thought he
Huh?
said within 2 weeks. I'm sorry. No, you're right. You're right. I'm sorry.
And it could just be that he needs to let it sit so that it can settle in whatever position it's going to be in. Because it could be one of those things where it's more difficult to rank a video. And
Yeah.
then once it lands in whatever spot it's going to land, he's going to know whether he should keep going or just leave it alone and try to look for something else.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, playlists are they're super powerful. You drop some topical trust flow in there, and it's just going to push up everything that's inside that playlist.
Yeah, and what's great about playlists is you can curate other people's videos in them. They don't have to be all your own videos. You can put your video at the top of the playlist, so it's video number 1, and then add other people's videos that are on topic that are similar. So like even if you're doing local, and let's say you're doing roofer Atlanta, for example, is your main keyword, you can find other roofing videos or roofing how-to videos that aren't, geographic specific or promotional. In other words, they're not promoting other roofing companies. Even if they are promoting other roofing companies, they could be other roofing companies in other states or other cities, so that it really wouldn't have an effect. But you put all those into a playlist, and then also within YouTube comments now. YouTube comments are do follow, especially within YouTube, so you could actually comment. Yeah, you can comment within the other people's videos up to your video or to the playlist URL. I recommend the playlist URL because you could say, hey, I've compiled or curated some top how-to roofing videos, which you can check out here. And you drop the link to the playlist, something that's not going to get your comment marked as spam or moderated out, So that's another thing that you can do, and that's all on-page stuff, guys. It doesn't require any additional tools. All that stuff has a huge benefit of it. And again, like what Marco said, I totally second that. Just wait. I mean, guys, when I go to rank a video now, for local stuff, especially for affiliate stuff, I'm a little bit more impatient because it's usually I'm on a deadline when a launch is going to happen or whatever. But for local client stuff or lead gen videos, I just expect it to take 30 days for me to rank it. I don't. Gone are the days I don't. Sometimes I rank it in 10 minutes, and then that's just great because then I feel like I don't have to work anymore for the next 30 days on it, other than just give it a boost. But my point is, it used to be you could rank a video just like that. Well, I'm not seeing that quite as often now, so I just expect it to take 30 days, and that's why I said I usually wait about 2 weeks before I really start hammering away at other things. That makes sense. Okay. Kevin says, any ideas why Google sites get suspended soon as we run any custom scripts on them? You're probably overdoing the scripts, Kevin, because my sites I haven't had one single Google site suspended yet. Not one. Anybody else?
Yeah, I actually have an answer for this because we ran into this problem, and it's one of two things. The frequency of the script needs to be dialed down. We recommend 2 hours for the script. And it could be that he's running too many on the same account.
Yeah.
And because the VA ran into this problem, the one that's training for done for you services for RYS Academy.
Yeah.
And the thing that he ran into is he was running too many scripts on his own drive, and so Google just started suspending any new sites. And then even if you go and add the page like we recommend, so that you get extra storage, it's still part of the same account, and Google will look into that and they won't allow it. Yeah. So that's the problem.
Yeah, and I think if the script is trying to run too much data, if it's too heavy, too much of a load within each run, it will also suspend it too, right? You know what I'm saying? Because I know, if we have too many folders in RYS to run with the script, it can cause.
Yeah, if it's one of the super stacks and that takes a long time, you have to dial it down even more.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see, Tim. Have you had the opportunity to use BrowSEO? No, I purchased it a week or 10 days ago, and I still haven't had time to play with it yet. That's something else I got to get our team on when I can. I just haven't had time to get them to it yet. We've got a lot of big projects we're working on right now, guys. So I've heard nothing but good things about BrowSEO though, and that's why we picked it up. So again, I can't give you my personal opinion on it yet, but I've heard nothing but good things about it, so I'm pretty sure it's probably worth it. Okay. Okay, Video Powerhouse is open. I didn't know we were ready to open that up again. We're working on the next batch of sites right now. We should have the next top-level category open to start posting to within about 2 weeks, and then within about maybe, I'd say 4 to 6 weeks, that next category will be completed to a full 100 sites. Plus
Yeah, and with that, we're going to have to change the way things are run a little bit. So this is a few weeks out, so not a big deal for anyone right now. But we're either going to the price is either going to go up a little bit, or the amount of credits you get is going to go down. So
yeah,
just an FYI for everybody. Again, this isn't like go do it right now, but I mean we'll say something before that happens.
Yeah, we'll let you know. But I mean, obviously, the bigger the network gets and the more categories we add, the more the cost is going to go up because it's going to be more versatile. And we're dumping a ton of money into that, guys. So it is what it is. But that's why we've been encouraging guys, if you're interested at all, get in now because it'll lock your price in for lifetime. But again, it's entirely don't get in just because you think you're going to need it 3 months from now. Just wait until you actually need it. But if you have any need whatsoever for video ranking, like a really good service for helping you to rank videos, then I would recommend doing it now or soon, anyways. Monique, it's been a while since we've seen her. Hey Monique, have you found that having a Google Plus community for Semantic Mastery results and time well spent with sales coming in directly from the group? If you're talking about from our free group, no, it's not really for that, Monique. I mean, like our mastermind is a Google Plus community, and that's where we spend a lot of our time. That's where our Q&A, like our discussion forums are and stuff like that. So that's incredibly valuable to us as Semantic Mastery, but also to our students, at least from what the testimonials we get it is. But for the Google Plus community, the free one, the SEO tutorials and case studies, no, it's really just we use it for people that have questions outside of the Hump Day Hangout format. Oftentimes, if they're really involved questions, we direct them to post them here instead. But it's also so that we can make announcements and things like that. But there are some other, like Facebook groups, for example, that are incredibly active, and there's value in that. Just having that community. So I would say, we don't do it for marketing purposes directly, and so it's not. I guess what I'm trying to get at is we really haven't analyzed it like that as how much revenue are we squeezing out of this community, because that's not what the intent of it was. If that makes sense. So.
Yep. Yeah, sales come eventually. I mean, we're just not tracking it because it's not the main point, as you were saying, Bradley. So.
Yeah, it's more of an indirect thing. It's
Right.
just so people know that we're there and we can post our events in there. People do ask questions in there and we reply to them when we can. And a lot of the times we direct people here to Hump Day Hangouts. This Hump Day Hangouts, guys, what we're doing right now has been one of the most beneficial things to our growth. And we enjoy doing it. And it's not just because we're trying to drive people into our funnels. I mean, we truly enjoy doing this, or else we wouldn't be doing it 57 times like today's episode 57. But just having this weekly go-to place for people to ask questions has really helped our business to grow so much, and also to find out truly what it is that you guys want and need. And that's why we try to develop stuff to solve those, to fill those gaps. In other words.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next one. Please speak about having a team working with you on the same projects allows you to accomplish feats that you would not be able to do as a lone worker. Yeah, you just answered your question, Monique. I don't know if you saw the interview we did with Dan last night, but we talked about that at length. If you're trying to build a real business, you need to build a team. Period. You can't do it as a solopreneur. You cannot have a true business as a solopreneur. You might be successful, you might make money, but in order for you to have a true business, you need to be able to step away from it and have it still make you money. And as a solopreneur, if you have to do all of the work yourself, then you're constantly going to have to be trading hours for dollars, even if you're really highly paid. Having a team in place means that you can step away, and the business will still make you money with just a minimal amount of input from you, which is basically just managing it. So.
And I would speak to this as far as us five, not really speaking to our employees as much, but having a team where you can work with easily, and is also motivated along the same lines is almost like it's a multiplier. It's not 1 + 1 = 2.
Right.
That said, if you work with the wrong people, then that can also not work out that way, and 1 + 1 may not be equal to 2. It may be less than 2.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
I think the thing that worked out for us, and I'm meaning the Semantic Mastery partners, is that we complement each other. I mean, we each have skills that overlap, but we also have skills that complement what everyone else is doing, and so it kind of just worked out that way. I don't know, the ones who ended up, because we started out with about 50 people, and we ended up with 5, and the 5 that were left, it just so happened that one is an expert in funnels, and we have the local, and Adam is the numbers guy and the glue, Chris is the programmer, and I don't know what the hell I'm doing in the group, but I'm here.
Yeah, I would say Marco does a lot. Don't let him fool you, but it's a little bit of serendipity with a lot of hard work. So.
Yeah, and like Adam said though, like honestly, we started off with, I don't know if it was 50, but I think we were at about 20 people originally. We were going to do what was called a business co-op with about 20 people, and it was just way too cumbersome. It was like a federal government bureaucracy. It was ridiculous, and we really boiled it down to just us 5. And in part, it's because the 5 of us work so well together. Like, these guys aren't just my partners. It's about to get mushy. But these guys are my buddies, we're all friends. We enjoy each other's company, and like what's funny is we got Slack chat open all the time, and like we're always making jokes throughout the day and just keeping each other entertained as well as progressing the business. And I think that's really, really, really important, to have that that dynamic. So
yeah, it's tough to work well with people you don't like. I mean, you can work with people you don't like, but you're not going to work well. So anyways.
Any helpful solutions for others to be able to set up similar accountability team of workers as you? Yeah, I mean, it just, using something like Trello as a project management application is really important for being able to monitor progress. Also for training purposes. That's originally what I set it up for, was for training purposes, but it's also great for monitoring progress. But then, when you're going to start building out a team, one of the very first things you should do is train somebody to be a manager, and have them be the one doing the monitoring. And so the manager is accountable to you as the business owner, but all of the subordinates are accountable to the manager, so that you're not managing multiple employees, because that's a pain in the balls, or excuse me, in your case, ass, pain in the ass, Monique. Because seriously, like, when we first started out, like our network builders, we've got about 12 of them now, I think, and they were all answering to me. And it just got really cumbersome, so we put somebody in place that is now the team manager, and they all ask, go to her for questions and issues, and if she needs to get me involved, then she approaches me. But that way, now don't get me wrong, I don't cut myself off from those other members. If they want to discuss something with me direct, they have full access to me. But I don't get pestered with day-to-day operation questions, because that's what her job as a team manager is. And so I think that's incredibly important to have managers in place. Like, if you start hiring virtual assistants, the first virtual assistant you hire, you should, when you're in the hiring process, you should also be looking for management qualities, because since they're going to be the first person that you hire and train, you should ask them during the interview process if they'd be open to being in a management position at some point down the road, so that you can use their expertise in whatever task you've assigned them to and train them to do, to train others, and also to manage subordinates from that point forward, so that it takes that management responsibility off of you.
I would also add that we get really deep into team building and business development in our masterclass. So if she's interested, she should really look at that.
Yeah, and even more so in the mastermind. The masterclass would be like the stepping stone to mastermind. But yeah, I totally agree. All right, we got enough time for about 1.5 more questions, if that makes sense. Monique says, what is the latest news on which browser to use for vital tasks? I still use Firefox for everything. I just make sure that Google is not the default search engine. I make sure I'm not running any plugins in Firefox that are leaking stuff over to Google. I just try to keep it clean. Although what was just mentioned earlier, BrowSEO, that's like supposed to be the best SEO browser tool to use, period. And again, I've got it. I just haven't used it much, because most of my VAs do a lot of like the real dirty stuff. So I'm not really all that worried about it yet. But I just use Firefox for that stuff. Chick, if I want to help some of my client sites to bump up in rankings and I want to use CrowdsearchME, does it make most sense to start by setting up both navigational and referring searches? Yeah, Chick, that's a great question. I actually answered this, I think, in the mastermind for somebody else. I'll answer it for you, though. That's fine. Yes, the second part of your question, does reduced bounce rate truly help bounce rate data? Yes, it does, Chick. I usually just add the event tracking script or whatever it's called myself. I usually add it manually to the footer of the site. But yeah, if you want to use a plugin like that, it absolutely helps. But the first part of your question, what I like to do is especially with a new site, or even a site that's been existing, is I'll set up navigational searches and set them at a real low frequency rate and then ramp up over time. So for example, for the first 30 days, I might have it set somewhere between like 5 to 15 navigational queries per month. And in month 2, from 30 to 60 days, I'll run it up to maybe 15 to 20-ish navigational queries. And then I might switch up the queries to where it's like business name contact or business name phone, business name website. What I usually do is when I'm setting up navigational queries within CrowdSearch, guys, I'll set up like several of them and just turn most of them off to where I'm only running one, but that way they're all set up at the same time. And then all I got to do is I'll set a calendar event in Google Calendar to remind me, hey, 15 days has been up, go in and switch it up. And I'll turn off one navigational query and turn on another so that it's switching the terms up. That's something that maybe Dan can automate at some point, which we'll be discussing with him because we're working on some potential projects with him anyways. But what I'll do is I'll do like company name phone, company name location, company name contact, company name plus service, or what could be like Joe's plumbing repair or something like that. You know what I mean? So that you're adding a keyword in there too, but it's part of a navigational query. And then I'll just switch it up. And by month 3, I might have it up to as much as 25 to 30 searches per month. But that's it. You don't want to overdo it. As far as setting up referring searches, well, referring searches is just driving referral traffic. It really has nothing to do with the keywords. It does to a point. So what I like to do is, and we got to wrap up as soon as I'm finished with this. What I like to do with referral traffic is like set up, for example, a tweet that would have the business name plus the unique hashtag in the tweet, so that the unique hashtag is to make it easy for CrowdSearch to find the tweet, right? But then the business name would actually be in the text of the tweet, and then the link that you're going to be using as the referrer is going to point to the money site. So that's how you get that. You could use a keyword, for example, or you could use the business name. Either way, but that's going to add some relevance to that search. But the first initial search is going to be based around the hashtag. So would it be like, again, let's say it's Joe's Plumbing, and hashtag, I don't know, you'd say, let's just use hashtag Joe's Plumbing, for example. Then you could say like Joe's Plumbing, emergency plumbing repair, hashtag Joe's Plumbing. And so you're getting all the relevancy in there, and then the link would be back to your money site, right? So all your relevancy is there in the actual tweet. You've got both the brand name in there and the keyword, right? And then you got the link to your money site. So you set up CrowdSearch to find that tweet, and then click that through that link over to your money site, and Google's going to see that as a tweet referral traffic from Twitter, but it was found originally through a combination of a keyword or and brand search, and you can switch that up too, which I recommend you do. Don't get lazy and just use one method all the time, guys. You want to keep that stuff kind of switched up, keep it fresh. All right.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Well, that's it. We're done for today. Masterclass, guys. We'll see you in just a few minutes. Anybody have anything else they want to add?
Yeah. Well, just one last thing, Monique. You have great questions that we didn't get to, so please when the event is posted for next week, come back early and post the questions so that we can answer them next week.
Yeah, and usually by Friday the page is up.
I was gonna say we've gotten better. It should be up by daytime tomorrow. So
boom,
look at that. Should be. It's a very important.
Right.
Yeah. Usually by Friday is the best. If you just go to semanticmastery.com/hump day on Friday, it should redirect you to the newest events page for the following week. So. All right, so we'll see you guys on Masterclass in a few minutes, those of you that are there. Otherwise, next week. So thanks for everyone being here.
Adios, everybody.
Bye.